There's no one here today, 'cause someone took the light away. There's nothing in my heart. Don't think I could even start to explain. I can't stand the pain of losing something so much a part of me. Though in reality you were hardly there in my heart. You were everything. Everything. You were everything. Everything. In these few hours, a breath of summertime has turned to winter rain. In such little time, all my hope is gone. Will it ever be the same? All I ever wanted was to see your face, to see a little smile from my...
Hi, I'm John DeVore. This is Roxy. Welcome to the channel. Today's a record review. It wasn't one that I was planning on reviewing, but I pulled it out of the record shelves this morning and played it and started having flashbacks to the mid-90s. I thought it would be a fun one to cover. This was an album that I played a lot when I first got it. 1996, I think, or maybe 1997. And you can tell that I played it a lot, and you can tell it was one of my favorites because, as any good audiophile will know, that little silver sticker that says last, that means that I treated it with a magic potion that is supposed to reduce record wear even if you play it a lot. And I remember playing this album a lot. The album is Lamb's debut album. It's just called Lamb. The little sticker here actually says Lamb debut album, but I think it's just self-titled. I think originally it was very hard to get this on vinyl. I think this is a sort of a DJ promo. Then it was later released more broadly in a regular release. But this is double LP. It's a great album. So Lamb is it's two people. It's a man and a woman. They're an electronica duo, I guess you would call them, which is not that uncommon for the era. This is also the era of Everything But the Girl and a few other bands like that. What really blew my mind about Lamb, above a lot of these other contenders, was this amazing dichotomy that they were able to bring to their music. And I don't mean there's an amazing dichotomy in the album from song to song to song. For example, some of these pieces just have Lou, the woman, she's the vocalist and songwriter, singing with her really kind of beautiful voice. Her voice, for me, it a little bit evokes, they're a UK band, but her voice and the way she sings, for me, actually more evokes sort of an Irish way of singing, almost like a Dolores Riordan or something like that. And then the other guy, Lou's partner, I'm thinking his name is Andy. I'm drawing a blank right now. Let's call him Andy. And if it's not Andy, I'll put a little subtitle underneath with his actual name. Sorry, Andy. Andy, who is the sort of producer and orchestrator, I guess, for a lot of this music. So in some of these songs, like Zero or something like that, Lou is essentially just singing over beautiful acoustic string arrangements with like double bass and multiple cellos, plucked and bowed, and it's actually gorgeous. Nothing about it is electronic in any shape or form. But when you get the electronic elements mixed in, it actually can get very aggressive. So it's definitely techno, but there's a very big helping of drum and bass. That's a very aggressive, very high tempo drum and bass feel to it. And in a lot of them, the dichotomy is the actual song. And in a bunch of these, this is the case. So like in Cotton Wool, which was sort of one of the singles, I don't know how popular it was, but it was one of the singles off of this. In Cotton Wool, she's singing this beautiful soaring melody, sort of sensitive lyrics, and Andy is coming in with all sorts of sounds, using rhythms that almost don't even seem to make sense with what's being sung, sort of like the two musicians are in completely different studios, not even listening to the other one in a way, and yet as a whole, the whole thing coalesces into something that is greater than the sum of its parts. It's interesting, very well done. Definitely has some sharp edges to it. In fact, so this is their first album. They've released a bunch of albums after this, and they're all great. The one that immediately followed this, Fear of Fours, I think it was called, is also a great album. But none of the other albums were as aggressive and raw as this first one. And in many ways, I'm talking about that. So a lot of the sounds that Andy is using, actually most of the sounds that Andy is using clearly started out as acoustic instruments. He does a lot of bass samples. A lot of his rhythm patches and drum patches seem like they're made up of actual samples, chopped together and spun and reversed and things like that. And he's doing layers and layers of processing on all these sounds, and in a way that's absent in all of the following releases. They're very noisy, so you can hear noise in the loops, so these sort of static and crackle and white noise patterns that sort of happen along with the loops and come back and repeat in patterns along underneath Lou's singing. It's really a nice, it mixes up into a really beautiful kind of thing. If you're the kind of person where noise and record surface noise and stuff like that drive you crazy, you may actually like the later records better, because there's no matter how much you clean this record, you are not going to get the groove noise out of it, because the groove noise is in a lot of the samples that Andy is using in the mix. And these are genuine. This is not the kind of thing where someone downloads a sample of record noise and adds it into their mix for like a cool, genuine sound. These are clearly dirty, heavily used tracks that he is sampling off of. But along with all of that sort of really gritty, angular stuff is beautiful playing on, for the most part, it's upright basses. Maybe there's some guitar, I'm not sure. And then there are multiple cellos, which are apparently played by a group called the Chainsaw Sisters, which I've never heard of before or since. But the Chainsaw Sisters do a beautiful job. The album's a great combination of relaxed beauty and angular, pointy aggression. And sometimes that's just the thing when you don't know what to listen to, because it covers some bases. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you at the next one.
Bye. Here's my love. Step inside. Let me warm you up by the fire in my heart. Step inside, close the door on the wind of fear, ruin la rest